Y'all are so full of energy. Hey, Sterling will take that R&B across the country. If you ask him, he's coming. For sure. For sure. Y'all need to do it as a team too. Get you out of Brooklyn and y'all do a tour around the South. All right. Wow. So y'all didn't even need a presentation. I'm so jealous. So we're gonna get into this next presentation. Got a chance to speak with this young lad earlier today and yesterday, and I'm really blessed and honored to be able to hear his story. I'm not gonna give y'all any details about his story. I'm gonna let him tell it. And just ask that y'all just provide him some love and support as he comes up and share his story. Francisco? All right, cool. Give him some love, y'all.
Thank you so much for that warm welcome. First and foremost, I wanted to just shout out to John Alma. Much love to her. I always say this, and it's the realest thing. Anywhere that John Alma is, I know I'm in a good place if John Alma Barnett is there. She is an incredible woman. She's literally everywhere in my community. If there is a need, she is there helping. And today I'm going to share a little bit about something that John Alma already touched. You know, a lot of the work that she was doing. There was just so much work that needed to be done. And just a little introduction about who I am. I'm Francisco Serrano. And this is, of course, Simba. He needs no introduction. But this is my little dog, Simba. And he's 9 years old. He's an Australian cattle dog mix. Loves long walks and hiking and people. And, you know, that's my family right there. Me and him went through a tornado in December December 11th of last year. So it's been very recent. And we can go to the next slide. And this is what brings me to the whole thing. So on December 11th, 2021, a series of just unprecedented tornadoes hit Kentucky. 2 EF3 tornadoes touched down in my town. Another in Mayfield, Kentucky. Workers were forced to be there at a candle factory or something. A lot of people died in Mayfield. A lot of people lost their pets, lost so many lives. All this, I want to be really honest with y'all. You know, this is the second time I'm ever sharing this story. The first time it was to a group of white folks. They picked and prodded at my story. So I really ask that you guys don't do that. I don't expect you guys to do that. I feel really comfortable in this space with people who look like me, with people who are doing the work. And again, just going back to our story, you know, I really wish Simba would be here, but he's not a service dog, right? He's just a little dog. He got recently working towards emotional service animal. Let me talk a little bit and show you a little bit about the realness of these climate disasters and kind of what the aftermath looks like. So you can go to the next slide here. We'll actually see a little bit about, you know, the background in terms of what we went through. We are tornado survivors. We're the families that have been spoken about today. I know a lot of the people who are forgotten and left behind in my communities look like me. They're black and brown people. They're an international community. This is our casita back in 2015. And this is actually back in December 2021. It doesn't look any different besides the boards being, you know, back. But I remember in all of this, I wrote a poem, and I remember the chismes, risas, y pupusas ricas. You were my casita. And yeah, this was my neighborhood after post tornado. If we can go to the next slide, I'll actually show you guys So where I was actually across the street. I had left Simba back in our apartment. He was asleep, fast asleep. We were woken up to tornadoes, essentially. And we were down the street. I was down the street at my friends, who are also organizers. We lived through this storm together. You can go to the next slide, please. So the aftermath is really important to talk about. I learned a lot about myself personally and how we cope and how we deal with things. Well, there are a lot of agencies, a lot of federal, government agencies that are supposed to be there to help us. But during the aftermath, we realized that there was this huge need for our community, just eliminating barriers that existed to things like funding, things like little, items, dog food, things of that sort. And so I worked with my friend Daisy, who's an amazing organizer, and she had this group called Rise and Shine. And so this group really we focused on going and meeting the communities where they were. And we were, looking for the people who were lost. We were looking for animals, if we could find any. There were numbers to call because people were trying to find their cats, their dogs. And that entire night of the storm, I didn't know Simba or my family were even alive. I actually walked outside. I remember this very clearly. I walked outside in the storm. There were live wires everywhere. It was flooded. And in my head, I thought I could get across the street so I could see if Simba was okay. And it wouldn't be until the next day that I would actually be reunited with him. And just to see him run out of my neighbor's apartment towards me because yeah. He had, in the storm and everything, it had destroyed my apartment. He had gotten out of the house or the apartment, and he went to my neighbors to ask for help, and they let him in. He slept that entire night with them, and the next night when I was finally able to make it out there, it was like a war zone. And we realized that there was a lot of just needs going on, and I really just didn't really look at myself during that time, just was really focused on trying to make an impact in my community. And you can go to the next slide. So this is one of the biggest barriers that I actually personally experienced. We, the following day, tried to volunteer with the Red Cross. And, it's actually misspelled there on purpose. I don't really care to really put their name right on there, looks like. I have this picture on here because when we went to volunteer, I had Simba with me and they told me I couldn't be there. And the only storm shelter that was, right, mind you, this is the only storm shelter that was set up, and it was set up about 5-10 miles out of the destruction site. So, when we could get out there, the people who could get out there in vehicles, it was sad to hear that we were being turned away if we had animals, and they were requiring, they wanted to see documentation if it was a psychiatric dog or a service dog. This is very real stuff, and it's not just a unique story to me. I heard so many of these stories, and I realized, okay, I'm going to use the platforms that I have. I have to say something about the issues that are happening, because the nonprofits, these organizations that are supposed to help us, they're not helping the people that look like us, like me. They were being completely left behind. The only people that were there for us was the community. And I had to put this picture up here. Obviously, he's kind of looking like, what do you mean I'm not allowed in, right? But it's the very real thing. Like, me and Akeisha have been working on getting him even just like as an emotional support animal, because I really can only function now with him there. I don't like having him not here with me. It's been very difficult to navigate life without him after this. But to just know that these agencies that were supposed to be there for us kind of weren't. And I'm in this process now. I'm in the process of healing. This is Simba, during the whole thing. He kept us alive. I actually remember when we stepped into the Red Cross, the kids' faces lit up. And they were all wanting to come up to him. He was providing comfort to us in a time of need when agencies that were supposed to be for us, they weren't there. And 9 months later, quite frankly, still aren't there. But we are in the process of healing. We're in the process of compiling all the stories of the people who are still hurting 9 months, 9 months in, right? And we can go to the next one. So this brings me to today, right? Today's reality is that these systems are not made for us. It's been 9 months, and my family still doesn't have a home. My mom and dad, Simba, myself, we're still in a temporary housing. And we don't really know when our house is going to be built. They're still working on that. We don't know how we're going to fund it. We're still working out on that as well. And I tell you this story because this story is not unique to me. It's not just something you hear about these stories all the time, right? Well, they're they're the reality of today. And I'm not here really representing any specific organization or anything like that. I'm just here as a person. I'm representing myself. I'm not here, trying to start my own nonprofit or anything. I think the amazing work that y'all are doing, please, direct those funds to those people, to those causes. The one organization that I am going to shout out definitely, though, is going to be Rise and Shine, because that was the community-led mutual aid organization we weren't asking people, hey, let me see where your house is destroyed. Tell me about your trauma. Let's re-traumatize you. No, it was, hey, we need money to pay electricity. Cool. We need money to get food for our animals. Awesome. And that's what our mission is about. I mean, Rise and Shine, it's not a 501c3 or anything. It's not a nonprofit. We're working on that eventually if we need to, but right now, the only way that we could function and help our community in the capacity we wanted to was to be just a mutual aid organization. The money that we would get in would be given to the masses, to the people who needed it, to the animals who needed it. And the next part here, I just, is going to show you the Rise and Shines. You can go to the last one. It's just going to show you where you can connect with Rise and Shine. So it should have, right here, you can connect with us online, and you can donate to Rise and Shine BGKY. There's still many families today that still have no homes. We're still figuring out the things that we have to do with Simba as far as not having to go to any other conference without him, right? I just thank you for listening. I really appreciate you guys being here today. And if anything, let's always remember to be kind to people and ruthless to systems. Thank you.